So guys, you must have heard that terrorists stormed a Catholic private school in Niger State and kidnapped children again. This happened the night that down to today. So guys, Nigeria is boiling. Nigeria is burning. Let me take you through this headline. Like you can see here, it says, the statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary set ablaze by the terrorists during the attack in St. Mary's private primary and secondary school in Niger State. We will continue to argue that the terrorism is not targeted. That's what this person tweeted. Also, take a look at this video here. And the headline is coming from Sahara Reporters. This is what it says. Watch, fully armed terrorists dressed as soldiers attend wedding Fatiha of top kingpin in Zamfara as Nigeria's security crisis deepens. So guys, this country is finished. Just take a look at the video. See how sophisticated these people appeared in public. No military can dare them again. No police can dare them. Nobody can speak. These people have captured Nigeria. Do we even have a commander-in-chief? Do we have a president? See how bandits, terrorists that used to go hiding, they now come out publicly because they've been granted opportunity to come out and say we are having peace deal. Now they openly move around with their firearm. So guys, this is Nigeria for you. Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment for making broadcasts, for saying something in a video. See the real terrorists carrying sophisticated weapons in the public, where children can take view of them. You can see how rotten the country is deteriorating. So guys, we just pray that God will save us. Anyway, let me allow you to take a look at some of the updates of this news that happened in Niger State. Don't forget that the terrorists have already named their price for the abducted school girls in Kebbi State. They said they want 100 million naira per head. And we heard they took about 25 students or so. So guys, it is business. At the same time, it's not a good news for the country. Let me take you through some of the reactions. This one is coming from a United States media house, and it says, faith under fire. Gunmen storm St. Mary's Catholic School in Nigeria, kidnapping dozens of students in latest attack targeting Christians. And this other one here says, breaking terrorists invade Catholic school in Niger, kidnap students, staff. And this one is a figure that was put out by National Bureau of Statistics last year, December 18th, 2024. It says more than 614,000 Nigerians were killed and 2.2 Nigerians were abducted in 1 year. Just in 1 year, this was the figure put out by this organization, National Bureau of Statistics. And now the state governor has equally reacted to the incident. He said, just in, the Niger State government has condemned the kidnapping of pupils from St. Mary's School in Papiri, Agwara local government, saying the incident occurred after the school reopened without government clearance, despite a prior directive suspending boarding activities in the area. You see, the leaders are not ready to fight the terrorism. They are rather telling schools not to reopen. See the flimsy excuses. Why shouldn't school reopen? Because of terrorists. There is no political will to destroy this terrorism in Nigeria. Now, the Catholic Diocese of Kontakora has equally put out this. It says attack and kidnapping of people, students and teachers of St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, Niger State. And then it went further to say this is to inform us that armed attackers invaded St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Papiri, Niger State in the early hours of 21st November 2025, abducting some people, students, teachers, and security personnel who was badly shot. The incident occurred between 1 a.m., can you imagine, and 3 a.m., causing fear and distress within the school community. And it says that the Catholic Diocese of Kontagora strongly condemned the attack and expressed deep concern for the safety of the kidnapped children and their families. Security agencies were immediately informed and have begun coordinated effort to ensure the safe rescue and return of the victims. The bishop assures the people that the diocese is actively collaborating with security operatives, community leaders, and government authorities. So guys, you can imagine these children are just little children. Can you imagine the trauma they must be going through now at the hands of their captors? Nigeria is finished. There's politics everywhere. Politics have taken over. They don't care about the people. So guys, while we were still talking about Kebbi, Niger State happened. And while we are still talking about Niger that happened today, and the news broke today, take a look at what is happening in Nasarawa State. Nasarawa, it says that Nigeria under Tinubu, once again, English Alhaji revealed that some students have reportedly been abducted at St. Peter's Foundation Secondary School in Rukubi, Doma, local government area of Nasarawa State. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at more updates on all this news, just for you to know that the country is having a very tough time under this poor leadership we have on ground, because their children are in abroad. It does not concern them. Even if the school system in Nigeria collapses, it's nobody's concern. That's why politics has overtaken the space. You have seen them defecting and receiving defectors into their party while Nigeria is boiling. Now take a look at these videos.
Structure.
Nenda sikabuga harusaki na
Regulate enter.
hankali yawa ku shigo a shigo a ba hankali
I just finished speaking with my mom, and let me tell you guys, my mom said they went to Papiri because from Papiri to where we are staying is not even up to 15 minutes. They went there because my sister Anuli is in that school. She's currently in secondary school in that school. They went there and it was more than 200 students. They picked up more than 200 people in that school. Some are 4 years, 3 years, some are 4 siblings, some are 3 siblings. They picked up all these people and they tied them like sheep and goats walking inside bush. They tied them. My mom said people that were coming to that school, some parents that were coming to that school through the road, through the bike, that they saw them. They saw them they saw their kids on the road walking inside bush. They were tied like goats, like sheep. This is getting out of hand. More than 200 people were kidnapped this morning. More than 200. And Amuli, she was so lucky to escape because they in secondary school that they didn't get to secondary school part. They got to the primary school section and they jumped fence. Amuli is currently in the house now. Just finished with my mom. They jumped fence. Most of their classmates jumped fence. They were able to capture the little children, 4, 3, 5 years. That was the people they kidnapped. And according to my mom, they saw plane. Plane. How did bandits get plane? How?
One of the attackers was killed as they made their way out after that attack, and your people found his ID card. Are you sure that that's a valid ID card?
Let me tell you. I'm saying this on national TV. I've already said it a lot of times on international television. I've addressed the Congressional Committee on Africa, the United States Congress, the Subcommittee on Africa. I've told them this, I've told them this again when I addressed the American press at the press club, the iconic press club, which is just 3 blocks away from the White House in Washington, D.C. I've told them this. Look, I'm an authority in this area. I've been immersed in this thing in the last 10 years. I'm like the poster boy of my village. I've been around. I've been on ground. Do you know that even 2 weeks before June 13th attack?
Yes.
2 weeks That's on May 28th, on the eve of this, the second anniversary of this government. There was an attack on my village where 6 people were killed. They slaughtered one of my father's closest friends, a retired army corporal, Ulam, that's his name, with his wife and his 2 children and his nephews in his compound. That's on May 28th. So the following day, May 29th, in our ward headquarters, which is called Ude, it's in the hinterland. You know, Yerota is on the highway. So Ude, our ward headquarters, is 5 kilometers away from Yerota in the bush. It's a village that has a railway station. So in that Ude, in the morning of the following day, a thief woman was going to her farm to fetch firewood. And she passed a Fulani guy who was squatting and was trying to fix something in a motorbike that was spoiled. Okay. So she saw some splashes of blood on his clothes. Of course, that's the ground for suspicion. So she went back to the village and raised alarm amongst the youth. And so the youth came to the scene where the guy was repairing his bike. They accosted him. And after some interrogation, the guy was able to confess that they were the ones who struck in Yerwata the previous night and slaughtered about 6 people. And so that the guy who gave him that bike is a soldier, a Fulani soldier in that village of Ude. That village, Ude. Because, you know, there are detachment of soldiers in Yerwata. Yes. There are detachment of soldiers in Ude. And so they took the guy and went to the station where it's a primary school in the village where soldiers were stationed. They accosted the soldiers there. The soldiers started shooting the air. The youth said they dared the soldiers to kill all of them. That this guy, the soldier who gave this guy this bike, must answer to it. So the officer in charge in Ude now brought out the soldier that was accused. Do you know his reasons for giving the guy the bike? He said he gave the guy the bike the previous day because the guy came to meet him and say his brother was beaten by a snake, and so he needed to take the brother to the hospital, and so he gave the guy the bike to take his brother. So who is that brother who was beaten by a snake? Which hospital? Why would a Fulani soldier give a Fulani guy who has never met anywhere a bike? 24 hours, to last more than 24 hours. And that was how this Suleiman was taken back to Makodi, to the 72 Special Forces brigade in Makodi, and handed over to the soldiers. And that was the end of the case. So these are some things we'll be facing every now and then. Soldiers collusion, the government collusion. It's something we live with. And like I told you, I'm an authority in this area. That is my village. My dad was the immediate past village head who he passed in 2023. And my cousin, Kumagajo, is the current village head. So a lot of people sometimes when I speak from America, they begin to imagine, they say, no, this guy, no, bro. I am a complete villager.
Thank you. Enough is enough. We are here. Enough is enough. Thank you. They are playing politics with people's lives. They storm us into this ground. With that armor, with that ammunition. We have to cop this very particular area within a tinkle of a second. I know what kind of us can do. Good or fine. I know what kind of us can do. Good to go. How many bandits are inside this bush? Good to go. Playing politics. They are playing politics with people. Big men are eating money at the pub there. Saying that we should not even do that. We should not go after them. That is for me. Okay. This is the full information for you people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. I will appreciate you. Yes. Big time. I'm not a coward.
All right. So Shagumi, 52 kids were abducted yesterday at St. Mary's Church School in Minna, Niger State. These kids are between the age of 10 to 19 years old. Only God knows what they are doing to those kids as we speak. Shagumi, 32 kids were abducted in KB State. Shagumi, while a church service was going on at CAC in Kwara State, terrorists entered into the church. They were shooting up, and at the end of the day, they killed some people. Not just that, they carried about 38 of them. And as we speak now, they are requesting for 100 million naira per head. Shagumi, please, I beg you, we need those kids back. These are your people. At the end of the day, I don't care if anybody's going to say You are defaming him. You must bring proof. Shegumi, these terrorists are your people. These terrorists are your people. You have said it before that these people are on a revenge mission. What revenge mission? What did they do to these people? What did they do to these people that they are revenging? Even if you want to revenge, why are you carrying kids from school? Why are you going into the churches? You are carrying girls? Which revenge mission? You went on saying that, oh, they are demonizing them. Why is the government demonizing them? That they should do a peace deal. We are not. Why are the government even thinking of peace deal? Soldier, police, DSS, if you don't know what to do, there's only one man that knows these people better than you all do in Nigeria. Go and ask Shegumi. Shegumi, me, if they will not ask you, I will beg you, Shegumi, please return these kids. If nobody will say it, I will say it. Shegumi, return these kids. And you are not a Muslim. You are not a Muslim. You are hiding under Islam to do all these things. Therefore, lying to these people. You are not a Muslim. You are a terrorist sympathizer. Shegumi, you are the only person that knows where these people are. You have been sympathizing for them. They say, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. Shegumi, return these people that your people have abducted. Return the 52 kids to their parents. Return the 32 kids that were taken in KB State. And these other 38 people, the one where they don't buy them. These other 38 people, please return them. And to the federal government, if you don't know what to do, let somebody else that know what to do to come up. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have a lead. Carry Shegumi. Shegumi will point where these things are happening. He knows them. We are tired. We are tired. This is a video. This is him.
You mentioned earlier that the bandits, the terrorists, needs convincing, you know, and we all know the havoc they've created, you know, in the society in Nigeria. They've raped women, they've killed lives, they've destroyed properties. So do we really need, do the government really need to convince these terrorists at this point?
So when you say they have killed, yes, I know they have killed, but you see, if you know their psychology, they are on a revenge mission. Everybody knows the herdsmen, especially the flying herdsmen. They don't just attack people. We have been living with them for centuries. They don't attack people without any cause. So what I think government needs to do is to really bring them up together in a unison and in a holistic form so that there is peace. And they are ready for that because if you call them for peace, they come. So why is government afraid of listening to these people? They just want to demonize them and give reason.
Man is fearless. Just saying all those things. He's definitely a terrorist sympathizer. So Shegumi, you and government have your own. Please return those kids. And whatever revenge mission they have, I don't know what the problem is, who started it, but they should carry out their revenge on the people that started it. Don't go for the innocent kids.
Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi, Wilfred Anagbe, has warned in testimony before the United States House Subcommittee on Africa that Christianity faces the risk of being wiped out in parts of the North and Middle Belt. Anagbe told U.S. lawmakers on Thursday that Nigeria was entering one of its darkest periods for Christians, citing unrelenting killings, mass displacement and targeted attacks carried out with impunity. Meanwhile, U.S. Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs has criticized President Donald Trump's threat of unilateral military action in Nigeria over alleged Christian genocide, describing the rhetoric as reckless and potentially dangerous for communities already facing widespread insecurity.
Have the privilege of witnessing, the privilege of experiencing. I'm not talking about as a privilege of opinion. Mr. Chairman, ranking members, distinguished members of the subcommittee, thank you for inviting me back to testify on the escalating crisis of Christian persecution and genocide in Nigeria. 6 months ago, precisely on 13th March 2025, when I last appeared before this committee, I warned that the situation was there and demanded urgent attention. Tragically, the past half year has proven those warnings understated the continued attack on vulnerable Christian villages by the Fulani ethnic militia and their counterparts, both in the middle belt of Nigeria and elsewhere in the country. Since my testimony in March 2025, credible reports from organizations monitoring religious freedom.
Founder and General Overseer of Living Waters Unlimited, Reverend Laddie Thompson, joins me now for this conversation. Thank you for joining us. Let's just establish your thoughts on the allegations about the U.S. president that led to this hearing on Christian genocide in Nigeria.
Well, in one statement, let me sum it up. I think it's the same as an allegation that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Could you take that again, please?
I said to you, my answer is simple. You're talking about an alleged genocide. And I'm saying that there's an alleged publication that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Talking about alleged and this new phraseology in the war of narratives with which...
Okay, I get you now. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the ongoing U.S. Congress open hearing that's started today and adjourned?
Well, let me say this to you quickly. My own emphasis has never been just on what the U.S. is doing. And I welcome this hearing for the simple fact that there's a truth that Nigeria refuses to acknowledge. And unfortunately, because we have refused to acknowledge this truth, God has had to raise external voices to prod us to give value to human worth. So there's nothing new about what is going on, the hearings. There have been hearings like this over the past 20 years. I want to thank people like Frank Wolf. Congressman Chris Smith has always been there to protect the lives of Africans and Nigerians in particular. And I want to tell you that the only difference this time around is the fact that somehow Donald J. Trump, instead of towing the line that presidents of America before him have done, which is to trade Nigeria off in what they describe as the pacification of terrorists with territories, he has chosen instead to give value to the life of the Nigerian citizen in a way that neither the Nigerian government, nor the Nigerian media, nor Nigerian politicians, nor Nigerian education, and all the institutes that are charged with bettering the life of citizens in a way they have not given value to the life of citizens.
Okay, so let's talk about how the U.S. government's stance and potential policy responses, such as sanctions, threat of sanctions, and humanitarian aid withdrawal will impact the situation on the ground in Nigeria. I mean, we heard Sarah Jacobs talk about not supporting the rhetoric about coming in and using force not to exacerbate the situation for those who are already suffering.
Not for her to talk. And thank God for whatever experience she has. But if I was to pick up my phone now and 300 families at least to give you what their experience is, and then to imagine that God has raised somebody who will give value to their lives, and then to imagine that somebody is denying. Now, this is of African leaders. First of all, Nigeria is a country that is so compromised, it's amazing. And I'm not surprised, because if you have a presidency that believes that any problem that money cannot solve can be solved by more money. So I'm not surprised that despite the fact that poverty has been weaponized, and a presidency that is denying an obvious truth, to what lengths will it not go to support the lie that it is projecting. Unfortunately for Nigeria, I remember it was Abubakar Tafawa Balewa on the 7th, was it, of October in 1960, who attended the United Nations General Assembly meeting, who spoke about where Nigeria is today, right now. And he said when this day comes, he gave us an advice that we should use what? Eternal truths. Leave lies behind.
Okay, I didn't quite. Perhaps I missed it. I didn't quite get your response to the impact this is likely to have in Nigeria. But let's get away a bit from the accusation and the explanation on the reality of the situation, and let's talk about what the main challenge is in addressing religious violence and protecting minority communities like Christians in Nigeria, especially in the local context and regional, basically local context, really.
The issue at stake is not a minority. The problem on ground is bigger than religion, accepted, but it involves religion. To understand that what we're dealing with is much bigger, as it were, than mere politics. I don't know if you're following me or not.
Yeah, I'm trying because I'm trying so you can perhaps highlight and point us in the way to go, whether it is the politicians or the people. You said most of us are culpable in what is going on with Christians. So I want you to talk to us about what are the biggest challenges and how we can begin to look for solutions. I think we're having a network challenge, quite unfortunate, because I really wanted to hear his thoughts on a way out of this quagmire we find ourselves. But thank you very much, Reverend, for speaking with us in absentia. All right, let's tell you that with the festive season looming, the highway corridor along Kogi State's Lokoja, Kotonkarfi, Abaji Express route, a major north-south artery, is getting urgent attention. State and federal agencies have commenced the inspection of the corridor, while contractors saddled with effecting emergency works have pledged temporary opening. You have been, this matter is not a new one, you have been on the matter of Christian genocide for decades, and it seems no one is listening. But do you really think this government can solve the problem, considering that at some point there are accusations that there is maybe involvement, accusations against the government of being involved in this?
Thank you. Now, first of all, complicity by governance is nothing new. We're dealing with a hydra that has been working on Nigeria with a new template from the late 1990s. So the truth is this: if this government is ready to face truth, I think within it, the government has what it takes to solve this problem. But the first thing it needs to do is to come out of denial, because even President Jonathan admitted that there were moles in high places in his days. Now, let me tell you something. Out of this CPC designation, there are two things that can come out for Nigeria out of it. It's an opportunity that is very big. Number one, the value of human worth in Nigeria can be established in a way that Nigeria will be quantum leaped from where it is right now, in such a way that the 10 golden years of the Western region will be nothing compared to the development of Nigeria. Because once we value human worth and build a government for Nigeria based on that, we're going to go far. Secondly, out of this, if we handle it properly, can come a situation where right now the Nigerian naira is 1,600, 1,700 to US dollar. Out of this situation can come a result where that inflation, that rate will be brought down to, let's say, 320 naira to the US dollar. So there are two games that can come out of handling this CPC properly. And this is what we need to do. Washington right now is fair game. What President Trump has done is to confront something that nobody else dares to confront. What Nigeria now needs to do is...
Bandits have reportedly, this time, abducted an unspecified number of students and staff from St. Mary's School in Papiri, located in Agwara local government area of Niger State. Confirming the incident in a telephone interview, the head of disaster and relief for Agwara local government, Ahmed Abdullahi Rufai, revealed that the attackers invaded the school in the early hours of the morning between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. He noted that the exact number of abducted students and staff is yet to be determined as authorities continue to assess the situation. Now, this latest abduction comes just days after a similar attack in Maga, Kebbi State, where gunmen kidnapped 25 students from another school, raising fresh concerns over the worsening insecurity across educational institutions in the region. We have one man who has been following this story very, very closely right from the early hours of this morning. Journalist Ibrahim Ndamitso joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Ibrahim.